What's up guys, welcome back to Enum Garage. Now today I'm going to show you how to install a short shifter in your Mazda Miata. Now this does apply for cars, trucks. It's a little bit similar for different things, but it's the same idea. So yeah, let's get into it. So in this video we're just going to show you how to take out the shifter, clean it, put a new one in. If you do get a new shifter, this video will also be the same thing, how to install it. So yeah, let's begin. So the only tools that I need to do this job is brake cleaner, so I can clean off the old shifter, a Phillips head screwdriver to unscrew the center console, and a 10mm deep socket for taking off the shifter boot and taking off the actual shifter. So in your Miata, in your center console, there are 2 bolts in here, so we're going to unscrew those. Alright, one more. So once those 2 bolts are out, my car has a cup holder, so just pull that out. And there's 1 bolt here you got to take out. That bolt is out. There are 2 more bolts, one here and one on this side. I'm missing the one on this side, so we're just going to take out this one for now. Alright, step 2. Once you have all your bolts out of your center console, unscrew your shift knob. Just pull this off and stick that aside. Pull up your e-brake in your Miata, so this is easier. Now you're just going to give it a little tight pull. And mine has 2 little clips under here that I gotta pull off. Alright, so my car is missing a little thing that the shift boot holds onto, so I'm just gonna pull that off right now. Mine has a little clip right here that you gotta pull off. Just press this tab and pull. There you go, pull it off. And now you can take your center console out and stick it outside of the car. I'm just gonna set my center console right here. And now we can use our 10mm deep socket and go back into the car. Wow, so as you can see, my transmission boot is just completely destroyed. So let's get on to removing the boot. So on my car, there are 4 10mm nuts, 2 here and 2 back there. So we're just gonna remove those. Now you should probably use a smaller socket. This is the only one I have to reach these bolts. It does work just fine. It's just in a bit of a tight location. Alright, once all those bolts out, my car has this little wire bracket. Just set that aside. Try not to rip any of the wires and just pull this up and pull it out of the way. And there you go. Now it's off. You can see my trans boot is just destroyed. I need a new one of these. That'll be a new video. Moving back into the car, we have 3 bolts on the shifter, 1, 2, and 3. You need to remove those, doesn't matter in order. Make sure your car is in neutral, so that is good. One of the reasons why I'm replacing my shifter is you can see there's so much play in all the gears, and it's just, not fun. So like I said, make sure your car's in neutral, and we're going to remove these 3 bolts. I forgot to mention, make sure you use hand tools when you're removing these bolts. If you use air tools or an impact gun or whatever, you're going to strip them out. And if you strip them out, the threads go into your transmission and it's just going to be a nightmare to fix. So trust me and use hand tools. Alright, this bolt is loose. Just leave them in the holes and we'll do the rest of them. Alright, I went ahead and got all 3 bolts done. So I'm going to show you how to do this. Just make sure you take everything out in order. So this first plate comes out first, and what you want to do is just pull all the bolts out, take note of where your bolts go, just like that. Now this plate goes first, so make sure that's first in line. Next thing we're going to take out is this little silver plate. This same thing comes right off, and we're going to set this. Pull this plastic part out right here, stick that there, plate there. Now we can pull out the shifter, just be gentle, pull it out just like that. And we're gonna set that right here. And there's a little bushing on here, just pull that off, should be plastic, and set that right there. All right, back in the car, there are 2 spacers, 1 plastic one, right here. Put that like that. And then there is a metal one right here. And this goes like that. So here's everything. Your shifter is completely out of the car. There's nothing left in the trans tunnel. So yeah, Now we can move on to cleaning all this stuff and reassembling it. So this is where your brake cleaner comes in handy. Just spray a paper towel and wipe down all of your parts. Make sure you get all the grease and crap off of them, and then we can reassemble it and put it back in the car. Alrighty, so my parts are clean. Just took some brake cleaner right here, sprayed it on a towel, and just wiped everything down. It's all shiny and nice. And let's get back to reassembling. The thing I forgot to say is make sure you clean the top of the mounting part of the trans tunnel. Make sure you don't get anything in the trans, and that's good. First thing to do, if you have a new bushing, brass is recommended, but I just have a plastic one. Just stick that right on the end of the ball, and that's good. Step 2, make sure you get this aluminum piece, and there should be like a little notch inside the transmission. Yes, there is. Now align that notch with there, and it should just slide right in. Part number 2, really doesn't matter which way it goes, just make sure it's in there and make sure it's flat, which it is. All right, once those 2 little plastic pieces are in there, you're gonna get your shifter handle itself, just like this, and there's a little groove right there. It's hard to see. You need to match that up with the notch right there. All right, once the shifter's in, there's this little notch right here, and you're gonna want to align that with the notch on the shifter right there, and then line up the bolt holes, just like that. Lastly, you have this piece right here, and there's a notch right there. Make sure you align that notch with the little keyway, and there you go, it's flat in there. Last thing is this washer and the 3 bolts, so let's get these installed. It really does not matter which way this washer goes on unless the bolt holes are aligned. So there you go, that's on, just like that. So tip, put some thread locker on the bolts. I don't have any, so I'm just not going to use it for now. Now just put all 3 bolts and hand tighten them. Good. Now once your bolts are tight, make sure you tighten them. Now make sure you do not over tighten these bolts. If you strip your transmission out, it's going to be a major headache. So you're going to do this in a star pattern. So right here, there you go, it's tight. This side right here. All right, now all 3 bolts have been tightened down, not torqued. I don't have a torque wrench, but there's still a little bit of play, but it's not as bad as it was. Now the shifter feels so much more precise. Feels way better now. So let's get everything back installed. Even though my shifter boot is destroyed, I'm just gonna put it back on until I can get a new one. So it's a formality. Just slide it on, just like that. Make sure, like I said, to keep note of the wires, and then just slide it on. There we go. Put this back on there, just like that, and let's tighten it down. All right, once all 4 bolts are finger tight, you wanna go in a crisscross pattern when tightening them. So we're gonna start with this one right here. Don't go over tight, that's good. And then up here. All right, go down here. That's good, and then up here. All right, that's tight. So let's get our center console back in. All right, so my center console is right here. Now this, have to make sure to align that. All right, that's good. Make sure your handbrake is up, in a Miata at least. Slide that in. Make sure to attach your connections until you hear a click, just like that. All right, now we can slide this back in. Here we go. Make sure to move all your wires out of the way. Now, because my car is missing a little bracket for this thing, the shift boot, just get it on here, and I'm just going to tuck it in here for now until I can get a new center console. Just tuck that in, and it looks okay for now. It still looks bad, but that'll get fixed in the future. So yeah, now that's on. Get your shift knob right here. Just tighten that on, and now we can tighten in our center console bolts. All right, your new short shifter is in. It is that easy. Just row through the gears real quick. Make sure your foot's on the clutch when it's off. Yeah, it works really well. So when you're doing this, just make sure you have patience. If you try to rush these things and you strip bolts and you don't put things in the right order, it's just gonna suck. It's really not gonna be fun, and you're just not gonna have a good time. So yeah, last thing I need to do, I need to get this little mat I made back in here. That's it. That's really it. Make sure you start your car. Now, run through all the gears with the clutch in. It's working great. So that's really it, guys. Alright guys, that is it for today's video. Thank you for watching. I hope it helps, and just leave a comment so if it helps you. If it doesn't help you, just leave a dislike, I guess. I don't know. Anyway guys, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more episodes. See you later.